Hi, my name's Shirish Kulkarni. I'm a journalist, researcher, and community organiser. And I'm specifically a community organiser in my role at Bureau Local, which is part of the Bureau of Investigative Journalism here in the UK. And in the last year or so, I've been working very specifically on a new initiative we call the People's Newsroom Initiative. So right now, for the last year or so, I've been working on something called the People's Newsroom Initiative, which really grew out of work I was doing, which was about engaging with communities, hearing what they wanted the future of journalism to look like. And increasingly, they were telling us they wanted to tell their own stories. So we wanted to respond to that and think about how we could lower the barriers to entry for people and communities to tell their own stories. So the People's Newsroom Initiative is really looking at two different things: how we lower the barriers to entry, so provide shared resources like office resources, marketing resources, platform resources, but also how we can equip citizens, people and communities across the UK, to tell their own stories in a journalistic way. That's not set on them a model of journalism, because we think experimentation with a form would be really exciting, but really it's to help people and communities across the UK tell their own stories in a way which works for them. Right now, clearly local media are trying to reinvent their models, both on the editorial side, but also on the business side, to change their content, to kind of better serve their bottom line. But I think in a way we have to take a step back. The existential problem facing journalism right now is trust. People simply don't trust their media. So we need to find a way to fix that really urgently, otherwise we might as well give up. And we've all been in meetings where people say in editorial meetings, oh, we need to build trust with our communities. Let's do that tomorrow. And that is not how relationships work. To build trust, you have to show up today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, next week, next year. Because to build trust, you simply need to do trustworthy things, which sounds obvious, but not enough of us do it. So working with communities, building journalism together, working from the ground up rather than us deciding what all the stories are or what communities need to know, has got to be the only way we can rebuild trust, because they are co-producing the journalism with us. So they have to trust it. But also the stories are going to be much more related to the stories they are interested in, because they are coming up with the stories. They're helping drive the journalism. It's not journalists at a remove deciding what stories they're interested in. So I think we just need to take a step back and say, look, what are the big problems we're facing? It's trust. How do we fix trust? And only then will the bottom line follow. We can't start with thinking, how do we fix the bottom line and work backwards from there? We know what the problem is. Let's fix that. So in terms of the most powerful stories we've done that have affected both our journalism and the community, that's probably an investigation we did into the pay of Deliveroo riders. So Deliveroo is a food delivery system, and they basically hire riders or drivers on 0 hours contracts, but the way they pay them is very opaque. And so what we did was we worked directly with riders and drivers. In fact, they came up with the idea for the story, but because they already had a network, they were trusted within their community. And so as a result, they got us lots of invoices from riders, so created lots of data, which as journalists, we simply wouldn't have been able to get. And that gave us really a much more powerful story. And it showed how little they were being paid. When that story came out, it had a lot of impact, both journalistically, because we built trust with riders. And actually that had a massive positive impact on the journalism, and also had an impact on them in terms of the positive impact journalism could have for them, but it also had a wider impact in terms of changing the share price of Deliveroo when it floated, but also in Parliament. It was discussed in Parliament. The whole issue of insecure work, gig work, 0 hours contracts came up a lot in Parliament, and it's really changed the course of the debate in the UK. Sometimes people worry that local journalism, local journalists will disappear, and that will have a huge impact on democracy, for example. But I don't see that happening. There has always been storytelling. Before there were journalists, there were storytellers. So I think storytelling will persist, but actually it might just be different. And in a way, we're in that phase already because the business models, the traditional business models of local journalism are collapsing. We are having new experiments like the People's Newsroom, like lots of innovations in the US and across Europe. So actually, this is the perfect time to be experimenting. This is the perfect time to be doing new things. This is the perfect time to be engaging with our communities, really serving their needs. And so actually, I see a really positive future for local journalism. I hope you found the discussion today interesting, inspiring, and invigorating. I will say goodbye for now, but I really look forward to meeting some of you at the International Journalism Week in Athens in October. So until then, bye for now.